All right. Well, welcome to Summit Center for Spiritual Living, where we share universal good through love. And, anyways, Michael is going to light our candle and explain the significance of it.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone. And I light a candle. Probably the only ritualistic thing what we do during our time together. But the uh, the candle itself has two wicks. The wax represents that we're all one, and the first wick I light is that of the divinity candle. That is, the kingdom of heaven is within you, not some far off place, but you are one with that one life, one activity of God. And then the second wick I light is that of the community. And as you see, that the light is much brighter when I do that. Thank you.
And remind me to clean the inside of that candle. All right. Well, thank you. Okay. So, John, you want to lead us into a
All right,
opening song, I should say?
here we are together. Here we are, here we are. Oh,
John, I'm gonna stop you. Do you have your musician?
good point, good point.
Okay.
Hold on. Got to stop and put that on. Geez, I don't know why I can't remember to do that. Should be part of logging in. All right, where are we? There it is. Okay. Here we are for being together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for being for good, for better. Here we are for healing together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for healing, for good, for better. Here we are for wisdom together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for wisdom, for good, for better. Here we are for love together, for good, for better, forever. Here we are together, for love, for good, for better.
Thank you, John. That's very nice. Okay, so today, Michael's going to lead our discussion. Well, we're going to possibly do a discussion with it because it's the fifth Sunday, but we will have an opportunity to ask questions or make comments after his talk. But it's going to be about release, the fifth step of treatment, spiritual mind treatment. But he has enough to just cover a normal time, so we're not necessarily going to do a discussion per se, but we will have opportunity to ask questions or make comments. And then so we've been doing this is the last of the 5 steps treatment. So he's going to be our speaker. Then next week, Deb Haley, who is always here. We don't see her on the camera, but she's here. She is going to be our speaker, and she'll be doing something from Course in Miracles, possibly something about Earth Day. And then the week after that is Palm Sunday, and that's going to be Michael again. And then on Easter Sunday, it's going to be Tim. We're looking forward to seeing Tim do it. And then the 4th Sunday, John will be doing it again, the last Sunday. So, okay, that's pretty much what's going on with us. And Michael, why don't you do 365?
Okay, good morning. From Science of Mind 365. Today's a good one, I think. It's living without fear. Living without fear. And Ernest Holmes wrote, he said, fear robs memory of happiness because it dwells upon the limitations and morbidities of the past. It robs the future of pleasurable and enthusiastic anticipation because it casts a shadow of its past into the future. It robs today of the possibility of fulfillment because it denies the good that we might experience in the moment in which we live. How much better it would be if we could think as a child thinks, abandoning ourselves to the integrity of the miracle-working universe in which we live. If the warmth of the sun can melt an iceberg, why should it not follow that there must be something in us or operating through us that can dissolve any difficulties, remove any obstructions, or renew any human relationship that has been impaired? We should constantly practice having faith, just as we would practice to become a musician. We should do mental exercises to build up our acceptance of good. The process is simple enough since it finally resolves itself into very simple affirmations of conviction, but there must be a persistency until finally the old thought patterns melt and give way to new ones. So pray with me here. Today, I cultivate the art of having faith. I affirm the reality of the divine presence in my life, and I deny anything that refutes it. As a child turns to its parents, so do I turn to that infinite presence whose creative law can do all things, and I accept the influx of all that makes for richer living. Because nothing is impossible to God, I believe that nothing is impossible to me through God's power in me. I'm daring to believe in the greater good. I forsake all that has held me in bondage and unite myself with faith, with expectation, and with joy. I now live without fear. And from Romans 12 said that be not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Science of Mind 365.
All right, thank you. And John, you want to lead us into meditation?
I am life. So it is. We are life. So it is. We are aware. So it is. Ever aware. So it is. I am peace. So it is. We are life and peace. So it is. We are aware. So it is. Ever aware. So it is. I am love. So it is. We are love. So it is. So it is.
Thank you, John, as we gather together here. I am going to do what is considered an opening treatment. It is really part of a meditation, but I'm going to explain each one, each step as I do it. So since this is our last day of it, so the first step, recognition. I recognize that God is all there is. Spirit is love and peace, joy and wisdom, beauty and power, wholeness, completeness, perfection, abundance, prosperity. God is all there is. Spirit is all there is. Whatever you want to call it, whatever the great I am is, it is. So then the next one is unification. So I now unify myself and speak my word for Summit Center for Spiritual Living that we are one. We are one with God's power and presence, love and light, joy and peace, wholeness and perfection, beauty, abundance and prosperity. We are one with all that God is. Recognition. Realization. Realization. So we now realize that as we gather together, that we shine a greater light, that all is good, that life is full and beautiful, that Summit Center for Spiritual Living is making a difference just by us coming together and helping to hold the high watch. And that I speak my word for Michael as he speaks today, for John as he continues to with the music, and for Hannah and Carolyn, Kyle, and for Wayne and Deb, and of course Michael. So I just give thanks, which is now Thanksgiving is the next one. I give thanks for all the good that is happening right here, right now, and accept the wonderful abundance and beauty and power. I give thanks and release. So since I have spoken my word, I know that it's already taken care of, already done. All is well, and so it is.
We are awareness. So ever awareness. So it is. So it is.
Thank you. And as you come back to the present moment, open your eyes. Please also open your cameras and look into the camera, look into each other's eyes, and see the magnificent spirit which is you. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over to Michael to talk about release.
Well, good morning, everyone, and good morning, community. And it's an honor to present here, last in our series on spiritual mind treatment, with the last step of the 5 called release. And I just am kind of reminded that these are suggested steps that, again, that Ernest Holmes did not go up to Mount Shasta and bring down the 5 steps of treatment. That, and again, I've heard some people in other places say, well, you know, you shouldn't use the Thanksgiving step in the beginning and all that. Forget that. Ernest Holmes only taught 3 steps, and that's recognition, unification, and then again, a realization step. So again, this is about consciousness. This is about our aligning ourselves with all that is. So all the steps of spiritual mind treatment are not only a formula to follow for effective prayer, but also steps in building consciousness necessary for demonstration. So each step of spiritual mind treatment, they build on each other. And also, this explains sometimes why just one sentence affirmations, like used in Unity and self-help books, alone sometimes don't work because they don't come from my higher consciousness that's brought about through the steps of treatment. So before we get into our last step of release, let us briefly review the past 4 steps we have studied together. And remember how to remember the 5 steps. It's taught to me by Carol Ann Drick. Are you ready to rumble? Or are you ready to receive? The first step of recognition has us consciously recognizing that there's only one. That there's only one presence, one power active in the universe and in our lives. You can call it whatever that you want. Life, love, substance, God, it's all the same thing. All right. Again, remember, in the beginning, God. This one life is always becoming form and leaving it, with all of creation coming from the Creator, capital C. So everything that we see in this physical world is made out of this one primordial stuff. In other words, there is nothing but God. God in and through and as its creation. Again, we are panentheistic, which means that there's not only God in the creation, but also there is a transcendent deity. So it makes sense that if you are made out of this one essence, then you and I are one with that and also one with each other. So in the second step, called unification, we are consciously reminding ourselves, as Jesus did, that the Father and I are one. So because of my oneness with all life, my word is also creative. Again, from John, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. So in any creative process, there is a beginning. And the beginning is with thought. So that thought then is acted upon by the universal creative process. Again, the thinker, the thought, the law, the thing. The farmer planting the seed into the soil and then coming out with a harvest. Like I said before, that life is a state of consciousness, or the sum total of your thoughts and feelings and also beliefs. Don't like your life? All right. Then change your consciousness using the principles taught in the science of mind. So the habitual thoughts or beliefs, as we call them, as practitioners, licensed or not, the beliefs that we're changing are one of separation and that we cannot heal. That's BS. It's belief systems. Again, the Bible reminds us it is done unto us as what? As we believe. So if we believe that we can heal, guess what? If we believe that we can't, again, guess what? Our thought is acted upon by that impersonal law of the universe that does to us as we believe. So all throughout Ernest Holmes' writings, his constant message was that you too can heal through the power of your word, like Jesus and the other spiritual masters have done. So in the next step of realization here, we again consciously realize the truth with a capital T, about another or myself. So through my word, I reveal what's already there. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. As I explain in Foundations class, it's like you have a dirty pane of glass. So what you do then is, if you want to reveal the glass, is that you go ahead and you spritz on your Windex and you go ahead and you wipe the glass. This whole idea of wiping the glass, that's what we're doing in spiritual mind treatment. We are, again, we're saying that there is glass underneath that, underneath the dirt, underneath the appearance, that there is a clean mirror or a clean piece of glass. So what I do is I convince myself of the divinity of my client or myself until I believe it and know that what I have spoken is done. Okay, so because I've already received it, what I've prayed for in consciousness, it's natural to take the next step of thanksgiving, or giving thanks for the answer even before I see it in physical manifestation, and also for the creative process that makes it all possible. So we learned, hopefully, from last week's lesson, that gratitude is a way of life, and also that gratitude keeps us at the frequency of the Creator. So how about that for a wrap up of about 3 hours of teaching? So let's talk about the last step of spiritual mind treatment called release. So in this step, we release our word into the creative law to become manifest in the physical world. And we do that by saying the word Amen, or so it is. If you're from Masonic tradition, you can say in the Old English of so mote it be. By saying Amen, what we're doing is we're giving a command to the great creative law and also accepting the answer to our treatment by saying, and so it is. John gave last week a great example of the Greg Braden story about, again, him and a native healer going to a very sacred place, him knowing rain, and then him saying this, let's go to lunch. That's a great release step. And the reason being is because that we take the focus, we've done our work. So now let's go live our lives. Let's go to lunch. So in other words, what we're doing here is we're letting go and letting God. Again, it's simple, yet it's not easy for most people. So from Paul's letter to the Hebrews, he says, we are reminded of the definition of faith. And he says, what is faith? It is the confident assurance that what we hope for is going to happen. I'll read that again. It is the confident assurance that what we hope for is going to happen. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. I'm also reminded about a story I heard in the 12-step recovery program. This woman stands up and she says, anything she really turns over to God has her claw prints in it, claw marks all over it. So for our treatment to work, we must have faith and trust in the creative and personal law to bring it about. So again, this is a great time to remind you, or to remind yourself, of all the answers to prayer that you've received over the years. So what happens to us mentally sometimes after we say our release step? So the mental noise of doubt and fear come up like, well, I hope this works. The counter thought is, I know it will. Or I hope God hears my prayers. Yes, she did. And now let her do her work. See? When we dwell in the fear after praying, it's like the gardener who has just planted seeds in the soil and went out and dug them up to see if anything has grown yet. Again, please, please, please give your treatment a chance to work. Again, to let go and let God is easy to say, but again, sometimes hard to do. So remember that when we worry about a situation, that's prayer too. That is prayer too. So I encourage you to really let go and to really let God. Expect your treatment to manifest. It already has in the invisible. So just again, by saying thank you and so it is, again, you've already received the gift. Please, for goodness sakes, stop living in the problem and live now in the solution. Get ready for the manifestation of your desire by just doing one thing that you would do if you were already there. Metaphysical writer Florence Scovel Shinn called it digging your dishes. So, and it's based upon an Old Testament story. So if you start to doubt and fear, immediately think about something else good. again, we talk about monitoring our feelings all day long so that we can live at a higher frequency energy-wise. So I'm reminded of the old religious science saying is that to treat and to move your feet. Now, again, don't will or force your manifestation into the outer world. And the forcing comes from not trusting the law to do its work. Just be aware and listen for that still small voice within you to guide and direct. It will if you let it. Also be aware of coincidences, like out of the blue. It just came out of the blue. That you meet someone or something, or somebody sends you an email or a letter or a check out of the blue, or a door that has been previously been shut opens, or a new door swings wide open. And again, there may be that unexpected check in the mail, a new job opportunity, or a prosperous idea, again, out of the blue. Again, out of the blue is the divine. Out of the blue. And again, if we could just do as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, just to get our bloated nothingness out of the way, long enough for the divine work to work, we would really be amazed. So asking a practitioner or an advanced truth student or a minister to pray for you is also a form of release. Also calling World Ministry of Prayer or Silent Unity is extremely helpful. So for me, sometimes I can't see the whole forest past the trees because I'm emotionally involved in the situation. So I will continue my prayer work and then have another practitioner to work with me. Be careful who you ask to pray. Make sure your practitioner or friend is affirmatively praying the solution and not the problem. Now, I'm about to share with you my number one pet peeve when others ask me to pray for them. So we're in person and I do this wonderful prayer treatment for them. And then they are still talking about and complaining about the situation that they're experiencing. So let me let you into my mind to share with you what I would like to say to them. What I am saying under my breath is to shut the bleep up. Please be quiet and give our treatment a chance to work. So, I was taught in practitioner training to give the audible treatment and then dismiss the client on a positive note. I have told people if I hear them complain is to stop messing up my work. Stop it. Just stop it. So my second pet peeve, which is related to the first, is that then people continue the conversation by telling others about all of their problems. Okay, I'm going to look right in the camera. If you want to get well, if you want your life to improve, please quit talking about your problems. Please stop doing that and think about what you want instead. Okay, it's one thing to tell your symptoms to a doctor or to a health professional. It's one thing to tell your symptoms to a practitioner or another person who won't get emotionally involved in your distress. So professionals, what they do is they use the symptoms to unemotionally diagnose the problem. the challenge here is telling others your problem is that there's a lot of negative emotions that are built up instead of healing. And what it happens is that it perpetuates the situation. Again, you may think of something, okay, but don't give voice to it. When you speak it, you birth it. And again, then the other party starts telling you about their problems. Again, Florence Scovel Shinn said had a person come up to her and start talking about, let's have an old-fashioned conversation, and start talking about all the problems. And Mrs. Shinn said, now hold it. She says, let's have a new-fashioned conversation of speaking about what we want instead of what we don't want. Gosh, what would happen if you were, your conversation with others would be how well you were, or what wonderful things are happening in your life? What if? And again, just to let you know, again, I'm very picky who I tell symptoms to. I'm remembering the story of a woman that come up to me, and we had a common friend, and they came up to me and she said, you know, they have cancer. Okay. So they have cancer. There's people who've lived 10, 20, 30 years with diagnoses like that. So again, just be very, very careful on who you ask to pray and who you tell your symptoms to. So another form of release is to do an actual ritualistic physical release. Again, some people use what's called a God jar or God can. You can also have a God bag. Again, you can commercially get them, or you can just go ahead and, you know, get a container, and, you know, that's your God can. The idea is to put your prayer in a piece of paper and to physically put it in the God container. Once you put it into the God can, you have to leave it there both physically and mentally. So again, if you think about it, say to the thought, I've turned the situation completely over to the divine or to God. I now let go and let God. So that's one way of doing it. Another form of release is that you may want to write out your request and safely burn it outside, and then really let it go. Another form of release is to release emotions. And again, techniques that I've used is Dr. Walter Weston's emotional release therapy, also EFT, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. You're feeling a feeling and then you tap on it. And also the Sedona release method. So let me add a thought in about forgiveness here. And this is my observation. One of the reasons that you won't forgive another is because you're still pissed at them. You're still mad at them. The emotions are still trapped in the etheric bodies. And again, if you want to be free, that there needs to be some form of release. Again, that's from my working with myself and others. I'm my best client. I learned a lot of lessons working with me. So another form of mental release is something that suggested by prosperity teacher Catherine Ponder, and that is to say mentally, I release you to your highest good now. Another technique is to cast the burden. I now cast this burden of this anger or this thought or this belief to the Christ in me, and I am now set free. So the whole purpose of this release step is to really, 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 really let go and let God. So again, quit thinking about the problem and know the solution. And again, like the gentleman in the story of Greg Braden, that they prayed rain, go to lunch. Go to lunch. Live your life. So if the thought or fear about the problem comes up again, think about something else. If you notice in the back of the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes puts one-line affirmation reminders to use during the day to embody reception. So if you're working with a practitioner, here's something else too. And Dr. Frederick Bales, who was a longtime metaphysician, he used to suggest this to his clients. And that is to say for yourself, I now receive subconsciously the word that's being spoken for me by, and then you can put in the name of the practitioner or truth teacher. And then when fear thoughts come up, the counter thought suggested was, well, Dr. Bales is doing the treatment to work on the issue. I will now let go and let God, or something like that. There does come a time in my experience, again, that you just quit praying about an issue and let it go. Again, as my friend said, I was in training with, he said, there's only one realization step. So again, this is really, I don't know, it's really hard for me to put into words, but again, there's something within you that just says, it's done. So, and I do this especially if there's a lot of people that are working on a case. If there's, I feel their energy, I add mine to it, and then I just let it go. And again, at that point, I just give great thanks and say, so it is. So I have some tips here that I'll put in the chat afterwards. So some of the key affirmations to the release step is, I release my word into the creative law, knowing that it is so and so it is. For those of you in quantum physics, I'm now collapsing the quantum field. By noticing it, I'm collapsing the quantum field into bringing about my manifestation. I expect the answer to this treatment right now. I let go and I let God, and so it is, and so now I let it be. And amen. Amen. Or so mote it be. So again, some tips here. Again, let go of your treatment emotionally and think about something else. Go to lunch. That's going to be my my famous release step, and go to lunch. In times between treatment, talk only about the solution. Create a short affirmation of embodiment. Again, golden key your request. This is from Emmett Fox. This is, think about the aspects of God that you want to reveal instead of the problem. Health, abundance, and love. Again, consider a physical release by burning, using a God can, or using, again, tapping or emotional release therapy as taught by Dr. Walter Weston, or the Sedona method. Another thing too is have others pray for you. Again, either myself, Diana, or anybody here on this call. World Ministry of Prayer, Silent Unity. And again, so just 5 general treatment tips here. Again, be clear in what you want here. Use the 5 steps for effective prayer. Are you ready to receive? Are you ready to rumble? Write your treatment out. Treat 1 to 2 times a day for 5 to 15 minutes per session. If you do not have a manifestation after a period of time, consult a practitioner. Forgive everyone, especially yourself, and do treatment around the clock. And that does not mean that you constantly are in treatment, but what that means is sometimes is on the hour, is go ahead and to do a brief spiritual mind treatment and to let it go. So again, expect your good by digging your ditches. Get ready with one small act. Feel like you've already have it, like I've given you the gift and you said thank you. So we've thrown a lot at you here after during the past 5 weeks, and I'm still learning about treatment. And guess what? You have a community that loves you, supports you, and that will see beyond the appearances and see only life. Again, remember, with God, with Spirit, all things are possible. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Michael. That was very good. And yeah, there was one thing on the right. I loved it because when you said made what upsets you the most is when people start talking about the problem as soon as you're done with the treatment. Again, they'll start, bringing it, going right back into it. And then you were thinking, oh, just shut the up, shut the heck up. And Tim set up a thumbs up thing at that time. And it's so true. So the big thing, and it's for me and for is that it's not to keep thinking about it. Just be happy about that it's done. And then look at it from a child's aspect. A child with wonderment. They're always when they're exploring things or whatever, they just receive it as it is. They see it as it is. They don't put anything into it. They just see it as it is. And when we can do that, we're going to be really good practitioners for ourselves and for others. So, anybody else have a comment or question?
Maybe that person remembered the detail they forgot to mention before, and they had to go back to it. Yeah, you gotta give it up. So it is. That was really good, Michael.
For me, for all of the 5 steps, and Michael, you brought it out very nicely, very early. They're not effective if you're not connected. And so it all goes back to being connected.
Ooh, can I use that? They're not effective if you're not connected. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay. Michael's sending the key affirmations into the, he just put it in the chat. So if you want to take a look at that, that's great.
Skip the first step or two, huh?
Unless there's anything else, either comments or that this going to send it on to John.
All right. Well, I thought I would do a song that most of us are familiar with, that reflects the idea of we're making a change. When we go through the treatment process, we're seeking change. So this is my song, Change. A child is born to live and grow, to learn, to try, to think and know, to keep a secret, to have a friend, to love and care, protect, defend. Each experience, normal or strange, is part of the permanent process of change. Transformations, choice or chance, each a step in a lifelong dance. Where does it come from? Where does it go? Hey, surprise, like new fallen snow. You can tell other people, most already know. Time for a change, go with the flow. transition treadmill, inertia blunder, building momentum, surfing the mind, moving ahead, falling behind. Each experience, normal or strange, is part of the permanent process of change. Transformations, choice or chance, each a step in a lifelong dance. Where does it come from? Where does it go? Hey, surprise, like new fallen snow. You can tell other people most already know. Time for a change. Go with the flow.
Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, so it's that time in our service where we give you the opportunity to give. Michael, will you do this? I'm going to have a little bit of a coffee. So,
All right. So again, this is, I heard one minister say the other day that giving is sacred. And so again, this is the time in our time together in which we get the opportunity to be the divine individuals that we are. Again, the whole idea of giving and receiving. So we give not just to receive, but we give because it's a natural part of who we are as God beings. So take your gift in your hand, right top over left. And again, just be grateful. Be grateful for the gift. Be grateful for the organization that you're giving it to, right top over left, to know with me that divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Everything and everybody is blessed right now in the sacred moment. So as I give, again, I just now know that it's natural now to receive. It's not, so I open myself now to the abundance of the universe as I participate in that great flow of life. And so with a heart filled with thanksgiving, I release this gift to do its perfect work at Summit Center for Spiritual Living, to bless not only the individuals here locally, but also to bless the world. And so it is. Thank you. All right, John, some good and more good. Please.
Good and more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. Good crowds itself upon us, wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. Good and more good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is.
all right. Thank you. Time for announcements.
Yes, and ntmedia.org. And again, if everyone could go on our YouTube page and push like or push subscribe, that would be great. And also watch some of the programs and push like. That would also be great too. So have some great programs that I've done. Did another great Friday evening fireside chat, and lots of, again, meat praying. Again, ntmedia.org. Just go to the YouTube page. That's the best portal. Another portal is the Facebook page. But also just to let you know that Facebook has changed its rules here. So what's going to happen here is they only leave up your videos now for like 30 days. So after 30 days, they go ahead and erase them. So we'll have to work with Hannah about getting this also on YouTube also. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So thank you.
Don?
Mine is yeswise.com, where you'll find YesWise Inspiry and also my seminars and holistic learning modules, especially the holistic natural health wellness learning module and seminar. So check it out, yeswise.com.
Are there any other announcements? All right, so let's do our moment of silence. And when we do this moment of silence, this is the time where you can bring into your heart and mind and into your prayers and thoughts. Someone who may need, maybe yourself or or family member or friend. I know my one friend, longtime friend, his father passed away just recently. So anyways, just bring them into mind, knowing that all is well and all is good, and that so it is, it's taken care of. I'm going to ring us in and I'll ring us out. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
We are the people of love. We are the people of love. Sing out, people, sing out love. We are the people of love. We are the people of peace. We are the people of peace. Sing out, people, sing out peace. We are the people of peace. We are the people of joy. We are the people of joy. Sing out, people, sing out joy. We are the people of joy. We are the people of love. We are the people of love. Sing out, people, sing out love. We are the people of love. We are the people of love.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And be with us next week when Deb Haley will be our speaker. And she's going to have something good from the Course in Miracles. So anyways, Hannah, you can end our Facebook feed now. And